often don't realize that we are the key to our own happiness, and that happiness starts with healing and transformation. Whether you need healing, guidance, clarity, understanding, or just some honest sister talk to feel connected, heard, and supported, you are welcome and safe here. So join the conversation and be healed. Welcome to Soul Healing Conversations with your host, Roz Kincaid.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's show. I am your host, Roz Kincaid, and you can connect with me at rozkincaid.com or at Soul Healing with Roz on Facebook and Instagram. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe and continuing to stay aware. I myself am trying to do the best I can. Sometimes if you can it just helps if you just show up. You don't have to be you that you were 2 months ago. I know I had a situation yesterday where I just cried after the workout and because I said, Kelly, my coach, Kelly, I'm upset because I'm not the me that I was in the gym two months ago. And she was like, girl, just show up. Nobody cares if you winning or not. No, these are just workouts. Just move. And so I encourage you all to not put too much pressure on yourselves right now. This is not the time to not be gracious and to not be compassionate towards yourself. So just as my good girlfriend Nancy says, just take your foot off your own neck. Okay, and just be easy. So for today, before we begin the show, I want to say a quick hello to my listeners all around the U.S., in China, Ireland, Mexico, New Zealand, Russia, and Canada. I want to thank you all so much for listening. Your support means so much. And look, if you feeling the show and you like what we putting out here, then spread the word about the show. Tell somebody, right? I also want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Shine Coaching and Consulting. Check out Emily Stout at shinecoachingandconsulting.com. And to learn more about working with her and what she has going on as a business coach and consultant. I know she's got a few things coming up in June to teach about marketing and word of mouth and all of that stuff. So get with Emily. She's the bomb. So y'all, I have a very hot topic that I'm going to be talking about today. I know many of you are curious, super curious about this topic and have lots of questions. I know some of y'all are even skeptics, and that's all well and good. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But hopefully after today's episode, everyone will have a greater understanding and be a little bit more open to what God is doing and how he's doing it. Because, he's working. He's still working. He's still in the blessing business. So today I'm going to dive into the topic of psychic and mediumship work. And as you can hear, I have a very, very, very excited guest with me. She is a faith-based evidential medium, meaning she gives you proof of what she's getting and proof of what's going on in your life. Because y'all, for the record, before we got on the show, she just read me for my life.
Oh, girl.
She's read from everyone. She's read for everyone from high-end floors to upper management for the Colorado Avalanche ice hockey team and everybody in between. Her work spans across the U.S. and to 6 other countries. You guys, please welcome to the show psychic medium Monique Mosher. Hey, Monique, what's going on?
Hey, girl. I am so excited to be here today. And it sounds so funny. The excitement I've been feeling all morning and really even since last night, because Spirit was really moving in a way that it brings tears to my eyes, because Spirit shows up in the biggest ways. And you got a taste of that even before we even started the radio show today. And I can't even tell you how excited I am to be here. And it's not just even for me, it sounds so funny, but to showcase Spirit, because that has been the leading force in my life that has brought me even to do this. And it makes me choke up, because Spirit has just given me so many amazing things and changed the avenues of my life, which has given me the gift of sitting with you, my wonderful sister that I am so excited to do this with today. So thank you for the amazing shout out.
Thank you. Well, listen, dry it up and tell the people about yourself. Give us a little taste of who you are. Introduce yourself to the people.
So who am I? So, it sounds funny. Psychic mediumship hasn't always been my gig. This has been my gig for the last 5 years only, professionally. And before that, most people actually don't know I was actually a trained pastry chef. And I was actually...
You baking the bread and the pies and cakes?
Yes. And I actually was one of the executive pastry chefs at one of the top bakeries in San Diego and Santa Isabel at Dudley's Bakery. Yeah. And at my peak, I was baking 3,000 pies over the course of a weekend during our busiest season. And I was very fortunate enough to be one of the head bakers at the Elegant Fleetwood in downtown San Diego. So I have a very large background in food. I'm actually completely OSHA trained, and I actually have the skills to actually like run a kitchen, but it's been quite a while since I've done it. So I haven't always done this. And most people kind of think like, was I always the psychic medium kid? I've always kind of been psychic. I've always had these hits, and I've always had knowing. When I was 15, I had a very large, what I would call welcoming to the spirit realm. And at that point, my relationship drastically changed because my dad died. And when my dad passed away from suicide when I was only 15, it was something that changed the course of my life, because it became very apparent to me that if I wanted to talk to my dad again, I better learn his language.
Wow, there you go.
And my dad's kind of always been with me throughout the rest of my life. I've had strangely intense psychic experiences. And it sounds funny. Like I've even had people come back from high school and middle school now and tell me, you don't remember doing this? And I'm like, I actually don't remember, because it's been so powerful for me to realize I've never not known a difference where the spirit realm wasn't there. And so it's always been there for me. It's always been real. But when about 5 years ago, I had what we would call another reintroduction to the deepest layer of what I would call spirit consciousness. And I received not only a spiritual awakening, but also an activation at the same time. And it actually happened in front of other people, and they bore witness to what happened. I mean, it was a really, really powerful stuff, but I haven't always done this. I've always had hits of it, but I was very, very fortunate enough that my dad was a catapult. And now I use my dad's suicide as a bridge to bring suicide awareness to everybody. It actually is probably one of my top 2 clients is counseling people through suicide now, because I understand it so deeply. And I understand the really unique side of it. But my dad has been this driving force. And then it sounds funny, 5 years ago, I needed to save my life. I needed to save my life. I needed to make so many changes in my marriage, in the way I was dealing with my children, and girl, the way that I was dealing with myself, and even deeper, the way that I was dealing with God. I was done negotiating. I was done.
And I
said, I'm done. I'm done. And this is really funny though. Most people think that you have to have this like really soft relationship with spirit or with God. And this is like where mine is like the total opposite. I was so fed up. I was so done with being on the fence. I challenged God. I challenged spirit to show up in the biggest way. And now my life reflects that commitment. May 16th, 5 years ago, my entire life changed because I made a declaration so loud. I challenged spirit and God to show up mightily in my life and to overhaul everything. And what most people don't know today, the number one question that I get is, how do you get to this depth with spirit? And the first thing that I tell people is that my commitment to spirit is above all else.
Yeah, you got to be committed now. You
people think I'm joking.
You gonna put your hand up and be connected. You got to hang in there. You really do. You got to hang in. Do the best you can, but you really do got to hang in there. And Mo, let me ask you: were you raised in church, or did you have any kind of religious background before you got deep into psychic mediumship work?
So I actually was baptized Lutheran, and what's actually really funny, I don't have a religious background, but my family is very heavy into religion. My family is very strict Catholic, and then I have some Judaism in my family, and then I also have some Lutheran. But my family is very, very, very heavy into religion. And my mom actually she was a practicing Catholic, not anymore, but her whole life. So I actually don't have any background at all. I've been to church less than 10 times in my whole life. And so this is what kills me, because I still haven't found a church that will invite me to show up. That's what I'm waiting for, because if the seats are for everybody,
well,
girl,
they say the doors of the church are always open, but so everybody's heart isn't always open.
And that's the true door. Bingo, baby. But I never was raised in that. And so religion to me is not something that, it sounds awful, but I don't give two thoughts about it really, because it's not something that defines my life, because it creates so many limits for so many people. And I am all about taking people outside of those limits and showing people what God looks like outside the box. And when that box is no longer working, we smash it.
Right. Because here's the thing. God ain't in no box. He's not, you can't put him in a box.
Nope.
I mean, come on. So let me ask you this: with being a faith-based psychic medium, having this deep connection with spirit, and with your family having their religious background and that kind of having some influence on your upbringing, what are your thoughts on the controversy around religion and spiritualism or psychic mediumship work? Because some people feel like, or they believe that only the preacher is able to connect with God and read energy and get messages from God and give it to the people. We know that's not true, but what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I was really hoping you would ask this question. Okay, so this kind of takes me back to my meeting with Jesus. Last year, I started meditating, and like I said, I have no church background, but Jesus appeared to me. Mm-hmm. And Jesus appeared to me when I was on a pilgrimage in the mountains, and it was raining, and it was awful. And I was meditating, and he came to me and he told me, he's like, you guys have got it wrong. And I said, wait, what? And he goes, you guys have got it wrong. You guys have actually made me into the idol that I didn't want you to do. And no longer are you my hands and feet. No longer are you the living flame, but you sit in a building to worship my image, which is exactly what I told you not to do. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, well, I don't even know what this means, Jesus. And Jesus is like, it doesn't matter. You don't need to know what this means, but know that you have got this wrong. I told you to live like me, be like me, not make temples for me, not worship me in the sense that you put me above you. Jesus was never above us. Jesus was with us, doing every day-to-day life with us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But Jesus is telling me that we've got it wrong. And so when I look at the religion and the controversy, I always tell people this: if I was called a prophet, you would have no problem accepting
right.
me.
Come on now. Come on.
Girl. Amen. And let's go even deeper, girl. Why is that? I tell people this all the time. Not only did Jesus tell me that we got it wrong, my interpretation of knowing God and knowing spirit is that you don't need anybody to go to and say, I need you to establish a relationship with God. We don't need the Pope. We don't need a pastor. We don't need a preacher. We don't need any middleman. That's my fault with religion. Religion has taught us that we need a middleman to get to spirit, to get to know God, that you have to come before a man. Jesus never said that.
Well, here's the deal. Look at what we're doing. Look at what we're going through right now. People can't get to church. Like, yeah, some, people are, finding ways to connect online and stuff. But what are you doing when you're not online? How are you connecting with God in your own way when you can't get to the pastor, or when he's not on Zoom, or when he's not on a call, or when he's not, on TV? What are you doing? What are you doing between Monday and the next Sunday?
Thank you. But we have religion has conditioned us to seek God through people in an authoritative figure, meaning if we don't go through this person, God's not going to give us what we want or need. That is false. That is putting our relationship of trust with God in human form. Your pastor, your preacher, whoever, they are going to continue to fail you because they should not be holding that position of trust. And this is what kills me, because religion has amazing controversy. But what people don't understand is not only was Jesus an amazing man with amazing abilities, I believe that Jesus was the ultimate psychic. And here's why.
Me too, girl.
Okay. Jesus demonstrated powerful things. And I am not, like I said, I am not Bible-based or religious-based. This is a very loose interpretation of what I have learned. But I believe that Jesus's demonstrations of miracles are actually demonstrations of his psychic powers, of his increased consciousness and relationship with God. And I believe that his demonstrations of miracles were really examples of telepathy, precognition, exorcism, reviving the dead, levitation, and psychic reading and teleportation are just small examples of what Jesus could do. These are what psychics do now. Jesus then said at some point in the Bible, and I don't know exactly what he said, but he said, you guys can come after me and do what I do, but do it better. He meant that. He meant you can show up, assume this much consciousness, gain unconditional love, and devote your life to something higher. You can be like me. You can gain these abilities with spirit, with God, when you are committed. He was a walking testament to the commitment of what his life would look like with God. And he was heavily rewarded. He was a powerful prophet who in our time would be the most powerful psychic. And that's what I believe.
Listen.
And I'm probably crazy, and I know it's hearsay, and I know I sound insane, but just because the church doesn't believe it doesn't mean it's not true.
Well, no, I mean, because, I do come from a religious background, and I know exactly what you're talking about, and there's scripture to back all of that up. Like and
I don't even have the scripture.
You see what I'm saying? There's scripture to back all of that up. He did cast out demons. He did, do quote unquote magic to turn,
Thank you.
2 fish and 5 loaves of bread to feed the thousands. Like who can do that? You know what I'm saying? He had supernatural powers, but he was also a man.
Exactly. And this is what even deeper. When I asked Jesus, I said, there's a time in the Bible where you've been gone, you were lost. We call those Jesus's lost years, right? That loose interpretation. Mm-hmm. I believe that during that time, Jesus was studying with other leaders, other spiritually inclined people developing his consciousness, AKA his psychic powers, to come back and be used as a powerful healer. He went off and assimilated his more consciousness. But Jesus was the ultimate psychic medium. He was a trance medium. He could speak to the dead. He could talk to them. He could cast out demons just with the wave of his hand and the power of his voice, because he was so deeply connected to God that wherever Jesus went, God showed up before him.
That's a powerful dude. And so my thing is that if God has deposited his spirit into us, we have those same gifts, and it ain't. And I'm not saying that one person is greater than the others. I just feel like everybody has the potential to develop this gift, and that's just it. Some are not as developed as others, and that's 100%. Okay. We all have the ability to carry on Jesus' word. It's a commandment. He commanded us to do this. You know what I'm saying? And God gave us the gift to see, to profit, all of that. But here's the thing, because we are human, we only know in part. We don't know it all. We only know what Spirit allows us to see and to know and to feel and to hear, all of that stuff. So yeah, all of that, that part. Wow.
Jesus was the model of what a man or woman can become. I really feel like when we dedicate our life to a higher power.
Well, do you feel like other religious, I don't want to say entities, but other religious authority figures or figures such as Buddha?
Yes.
Or, the same. Because,
I believe the same.
Okay.
And I believe the same about all of the masters of different religions, wherever they come from. And this is what I believe. I believe that God, spirit, or the light comes to us in whatever form we will perceive it best at that time of consciousness. That level of consciousness will form and change. And this is often why people in the beginning of their relationship with developing with spirit or God, 5 years in, it's a totally different model. It's a totally different relevance, because your consciousness is changing. You're going up on the rung of the spiral ladder. And so I really fully believe.
Let me jump in here. We got to take a quick break. I hate to cut you off, but let's take a quick break. When we come back, Monique and I are going to pick up our conversation on psychic mediumship. So you guys hang tight. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
You have a passion, and from that passion, you've created a business. But how do you market and grow that business? Hi, I'm Emily of Shine Coaching and Consulting. I specialize in brand identity, website design, marketing consulting, and business coaching. I create a visual expression of my clients' ideas and help them develop a business strategy to meet their goals. Connect with me today at shinecoachingandconsulting.com. Be inspired, be real, be you.
The Voice America Live Events channel is here now to showcase your corporate, individual, or organization's live event. Visit voiceamerica.com/live events to see all of our past live events and find out more. Whether it's a multi-day conference, special speaker, or single-day event, we've got everything to make your event a success. We can do a few hours or a few days. For more information about taking your event to the next level, call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or email info@voiceamerica.com. Again, that's Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or send us an email to info@voiceamerica.com. Voice America is where you are and where you want to be. Join us around the globe as we broadcast live from some of the most interesting events available. Don't forget to view all our live events, including on-demand access to past events that you may have missed by visiting voiceamerica.com/live events.
We're making it easier to listen to the Voice America Talk Radio Network wherever you go. In addition to listening live, you can check out information about your favorite talk show hosts, discover new talk show personalities, add shows to your list of favorites, and listen to all of our show archives on demand, all from your iOS, Amazon Kindle, or Android device. Download it from the Apple App Store, Amazon, or Google Play, and get ready to tune in. The Voice America mobile app, powered by Aircast.
You are tuned in to Soul Healing Conversations. If you would like to reach Roz Kincaid or her guest today, please call into the program at 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. You may also send an email to hello@rozkincaid.com. Now, back to Soul Healing Conversations.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Roz Kincaid, and you're listening to Soul Healing Conversations. Here with me to talk about psychic mediumship is my guest, Monique Mosher. And before the break, Monique, you and I were talking about the controversy around religion and spiritualism. But let's take this a step further and talk about, how do you dispel the myth about psychic mediumship is of the devil or is the devil's work? Because we as psychics, we get that a lot, especially for those of us who do have a religious background, who've been raised in church, and then all of a sudden, our gifts start to pop open, and now we're faced with, I'm doing light work, I'm doing God's work, but also the church says this, some church members say it's the work of the devil. How do you dispel that?
So it sounds funny, but the first thing that I do when people, because I've actually had people come at me real hot, telling me that I was doing the devil's work. And I had a lady that actually popped off on me real bad on social media. It was just and so what I actually do when people pop off on me like that, first of all, I offer them a discount so they can come see me. So I offer them 10% off and I tell them to show up. Why? Because, girl, come sit outside the box. That's the first thing I do when somebody pops off. The second thing that I do is I bring it back to the beginning. And this is a lot for a lot of religious people, okay? So for example, this type of psychic mediumship work, for example, Jesus, again, this is all coming back. If it was labeled a totally different term, and if I was wearing white robes and I was a man from the desert, I wouldn't be questioned. But because the label, and this is why labels are so irrelevant. When people attach psychic mediumship work to a religious background, people fall apart, okay? But think of it this way, and we all come back to this. What Jesus was ultimately doing was setting the tone for what psychic mediums and other spiritual leaders in our world would be doing, okay? If I'm in the church, okay, and if I told you, hey, mama, God, Jesus, came to me in a dream and gave me this, and all of a sudden I'm able to prophesize, more than likely the church would not question because the correct verbiage is being used. It is all about context here. People need to know, and this is really, really important. And this is why when people tell me that I'm working with the devil, I really invite them to come and hang out with me because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of this work because, again, powerful leaders really, really set the tone like Jesus to show up and say, this work is powerful. This work is real. It is not of the devil. And because he was called a prophet, let's go back even deeper. If the first time Jesus read somebody, he was called a psychic, we would not be sitting here having this conversation today.
Right.
Girl, it all goes back to context. And that is so important. And this is why really, really, I tell people, just show up with me. Show up. Go outside the goddamn box, okay? Because God's not showing up in that bench on Sundays. He's sure as hell not showing up in that book that you're reading, that you pretend to read. God is showing up in the moving facets of your life, but you are so afraid of what God looks like because in the beginning, somebody told you that God has to look like this. Well, what if I was the person in their beginning and said, God looks like this? They would have no belief. They would have no issues with believing what I was saying because the seed planted was different. Same word, different name. Call me a prophet, call me whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Dispelling it is the easy part. The hard part is getting people to show up that are so afraid that God is going to come down on them mightily. When Jesus set the tone, when Buddha set the tone, when when Mother Teresa set the tone with her consciousness and said, we can do powerful work. It is not of the devil. Why? They set the tone. But somewhere along the way, the words got skewed because people became afraid.
Right. It's in the wrong context.
Because
putting it in the wrong context.
It all boils down to the words that you are using. And why is that? Context is so important, because not only are the words that you're using manipulating the conscious mind, it's the unconscious mind that is the most important. It's when you say the word psychic medium, people become afraid because they become so just completely bogged down by what they have seen on TV. That is not what is actually happening. I show up with real life people doing real life things because people need to know that God is here. So the easy part is dispelling it, because Jesus did that a long time ago. It's just that people have forgotten the origin of the work. So like I said, if I showed up in white robes and called myself a prophet and made the exact same predictions that I make today, people wouldn't even bat an eye.
Right. What I also think too is somewhat fear-based as well.
Girl.
It's somewhat fear-based to see God or to experience him in a way that, you were taught to or told to, or, in a different way than, what you have.
Your origin.
You see what I'm saying? Your upbringing,
exactly.
your origin,
and it all goes back to that. So, and remember, if your origin had been different, you wouldn't question the norm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it all depends on the context of your origin.
Got to be open, y'all.
That's the funnel that your vision goes through, though. This is why it's so important for people when I'm doing subconscious work. We have to root your subconscious belief system down so deeply into the cellular structure of where this belief is coming from. Because if not, it will define your scope. It's powerful.
Man,
stuff.
Listen, God is always doing a new thing. He said it in the word. See, I'm doing a new thing. Can you not perceive it?
And
God is always doing something new. He don't stay the same. And for him
modernize.
For him to be able to, convert the word prophet to psychic mean to whatever. It's all the same. Y'all have
all
got to understand. I don't know how to get people to understand that it all comes from God. It all comes from source. These abilities to be able to see and feel and know what's going on in your life and what's going on in your energy, to be able to help you navigate your whole journey and to get these lessons and to, work around these challenges or work through these challenges. That is God. That is God. And he's always doing something. He don't never come the same way. But he comes. So you gotta be looking you can't be looking for him to come the same way and do things, the same way that he did all the time, or that the way he did it for somebody else, because he's using his people in various ways to bring that healing, And so, and speaking of healing, what are some of the benefits that people can get from a psychic reading?
Oh gosh, this is such a juicy, loaded question. But the short-term version of this, one, people get a lot of clarity and guidance. But I tell people my readings are for real life people going through real life stuff. And this can be from anybody, from doctors to lawyers to teachers to stay-at-home moms to Fortune 500 company business owners. Everybody in between has come to see me. And the benefits of this is why you get a very powerful mirror to help you see clearly. And clarity is so hard to find for so many people because people get so bogged down by this. So you get this amazing clarity. And it's not even clarity like fluff stuff, like, oh, your brother passed and he's fine and he said hi. No, that's bull. That's surface. No. It's more like, your mom's tests are fine and she doesn't have cancer. And I want you to know that everything is going to be okay and that we love you and that we got your back. The benefits of readings are real life information coming in at real life time, giving you, and this is the most powerful thing, real life energetic tools to change your life. Everybody that gets a reading gets homework. It's so, so, so powerful. And then even deeper at the energetic level, okay, at the psychic level, the auric level, your body is actually being activated. Your psychic body is being activated because when you read with me, we create a beam of light as I access your energy. That beam of light starts to activate both of us. We are connecting directly to source, spirit, or God. You're being infiltrated with that light, and your frequency starts to vibrate at a higher frequency and a much higher pace. You are literally becoming activated and stripped of your psychic stuff or crap that you are carrying around. This is literally why my clients have had massive, rapid turnaround, literally within 48 hours to under 24 hours of a variety of things, jobs, opportunities, even engagements. Because the activation, you're flooding your aura with literally spirit. And that pulls in more light. It pulls in more ease. It pulls in more allowance. It pulls in more unconditional love. The readings not only give you clarity, but they activate you. And with that activation, it's a powerful declaration to say to the universe, I'm ready for more. And they always show up.
Well, and that's that on that.
Readings change lives, girl.
Awesome. Definitely life-changing. I've experienced on both sides of the table, life-changing transformation, just giving messages, receiving messages. And I mean, this stuff really does change your life. It's like, how can somebody sit across from me and know exactly what's going on with me? Just like you did with me at the beginning of the show. Like, damn, all I said was, hey, Monique, and you started in on me. I'm like, yeah, that's it. You got me on point. You said to me, girl, you burned the candle on both ends. And I said, yes, you're right. I couldn't even refute what you were saying. And I mean, what it's going to take for people to receive this kind of benefit, receive these life-changing experiences, is to be open. Be open. Be open to change. Be open to hearing what God has to say, what spirit has to say about you, about your human experience as a soul on this earth. Because there's a lot. And if you don't want to tune into it, listen, that's all well, fine and good. That's your right. That's your choice. But don't expect don't expect a lot when you're not open. That's your work. That's your work. Part of it anyway is to be open to receive. And it's just like the prophetess or the pastor, walking past you at the altar. Y'all know, y'all who are raised in church know what I'm talking about. Especially if you were raised like me in AME church at Revival. The pastor coming through and putting his hands on you and looking at you or looking you dead in your eyes and starting to prophesy over your life. It's that same thing. You're open to that. Why not be open to people like us doing it? Not because you know us, not because you don't know us, but when something's real. Y'all out there in radio land and TV land, y'all know when something's real. You feel it. Your energy knows. It has a check in your spirit when something's off, and you got a check in your spirit when something's spot on. When somebody has hit a nerve and said something that will affect change in your own life. And so you just got to be open is my point. So with that said, what are some, I know I said before that, everybody has the ability to have psychic gifts. Everybody has it because we are all from source. Correct. We all are walking around little pieces of source. And Correct. So we all have the capability. So what are some ways that people can determine their own level of psychic mediumship abilities?
So the first thing I always tell people, and this is like real talk because this is real life, we don't want anybody reaching out into psychic mediumship abilities or anything like that until they have firm boundaries in the physical world. Right. And this is actually why most people can't dive into them. And so this is the first thing I tell people when people really, they want to determine their level of psychic mediumship abilities. The first thing is to determine your level of boundaries with the people in your life. Mm-hmm. Because if we can't do that, and I say this, and this is so true because I have dealt with both sides of the spiritual spectrum, light and dark, because it's very real. Mm-hmm. And not everybody acknowledges that, and that's okay. But this has been my personal experience that to even determine their level of openness, to even get there, most people do not have the level of boundaries to be able to say no in the physical life. So then it leads us into a very real problem. If we have spiritual people that want to go into the spiritual realm, but they have literally zero lack of boundaries, this is where people get completely railroaded by what's spiritually going on, and their gifts pop off and they turn into a mental illness because they were not prepared.
So boundaries.
So girl, Can you say no to the people in your life? 9 times out of 10, people cannot. And I say that they think that they can, but then they think that they can and they do, but then there's so much guilt and they chew on that guilt for the next 3 weeks. It's made them sick. So no, they can't. Then they want these spiritual gifts. I will tell you, spirit is the most demanding relationship I have in my life. By far, people want that, but boundaries are key. And I tell them that because my number one job as a psychic medium is energy. I can see that so clear. It's my specialty. If I think that your mental health cannot handle the reading, that is my job. That means that you thinking that you want to move into this spiritual realm of work, if you cannot say no, if you do not have those boundaries firmly in place without feeling guilty, it won't work. You will get railroaded. Check. How well can you say no? How well can you say no? And it sounds funny, but this is a real simple technique.
I mean, I think that part about what you said about, you can say no, but then you turn around and
guilt, that got you, huh?
Now you on that guilt trip, like, dang, I should have helped them. I can't say no.
Then you
end up giving your stuff for free.
Away anyway, and all of that mental energy, right? So then imagine that light leak, but with a spirit or an entity that is hungry and wants to mess with you. And you can't get it to go away. You can't say no because you can't even say no in the physical life. I had people come to me where we have to do psychic strippings because these are baby spiritual workers that were messing in a league that they weren't quite ready for because they couldn't say no. Don't hurt yourself. Physical boundaries are a really, really important task in our world of being able to say no because we don't want people to get spiritually sick or railroaded. And that's a real thing. That's why most spiritual workers don't continue their journey.
And do you feel like people who are experienced, have been working in this industry or this community for a long time can still go back and work their boundaries and become stronger, gifted?
Yes, I do believe that. And I know that because I have a continual, it sounds funny, but I have a continual ritual every single day that I do with spirit to keep those boundaries really firm. And this is something, so this is really important because you'll have psychic medium or a healer or a shaman, doesn't matter, the name is irrelevant. When you have a healer that makes an impact versus a healer that's not making an impact, that's embodiment. The healer that is making the impact to you has all of the embodiment, meaning it actually embodied and lived what they are teaching you and talking to you versus somebody that is just spitting it at you. And so it's really, really powerful. This is a really, really powerful thing for really to think about frequency and energy and how powerful it is and deep at a level it really can go.
So it's not just you jump. I'm seeing, having experiences. I'm seeing stuff. I'm feeling.
It's not just that. No,
it's not that. Is can you handle the energy? Can you handle?
And so most people, exactly. And I've had this because I counsel what I call fledgling psychics, and fledgling alternative energy workers. I mean, I've had like baby witches, baby psychics, baby shamans. I'm kind of like the grandmama where they all kind of come and I help their energetic boundaries get clear because energy is my specialty. So what happens is, for example, we have somebody that's really spiritually sick. They come to me, we do a psychic stripping, we perform ceremony, and we get rid of it. And what happens is they become aware there's something going on. And at this point, this is oftentimes where the spiritual workers decide, I'm going to continue my gifts or I'm not going to continue my gifts. After the psychic stripping, we remove the entities or whatever, the person now then has a more clear idea. I don't want to do this anymore. This wasn't fun. Because I'll tell you this, once you open that door, they will come at you so hard and so quick because if you haven't been spiritually tested or spiritually initiated, don't ask for it because it's not something to play with. They take it to a level where they're like, let's dive in. Commitment is key. You cannot say I'm fully committed and then back up 50% when you're supposed to be all the way in because you cannot close that door. It's very, very hard to keep that door closed once we've opened it, unfortunately, because the spiritual realm is so strong. Like I have clients that I have to actually clean up like every 6 months because their spiritual stuff is so much, but they don't want the gift.
Monique, we're going to have to take another break. Whew, this is good. I hate to take a break. So listen, y'all, when we come back, Monique and I are going to demonstrate an actual live reading. Don't miss this. We want to demonstrate how spirit works for you so that you get an idea. So don't move. We're coming right back after this break.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You have a passion, and from that passion, you've created a business. But how do you market and grow that business? Hi, I'm Emily of Shine Coaching and Consulting. I specialize in brand identity, website design, marketing consulting, and business coaching. I create a visual expression of my clients' ideas and help them develop a business strategy to meet their goals. Connect with me today at shinecoachingandconsulting.com. Be inspired, be real, be you.
Follow the Voice America Variety channel on Twitter. Our hosts always have something to say, and we know that you do too. We tweet on today's hot topics, and you're welcome to follow us. Speak up and join in at Voice AM Variety. That's at Voice AM Variety. Tune in to the Voice America Variety channel on the Voice America Talk Radio Network. Voice America Variety broadcasts a diverse array of topics, reaching a global community. Our experts come from all walks of life, and the topics they discuss are everything from current events, arts and entertainment, leadership, parenting, relationships, self-improvement, career advice, and a variety of other topics. Check us out today. You're sure to find something of interest. Voice America Variety. Talk on today's hot topics.
You are tuned in to Soul Healing Conversations. If you would like to reach Roz Kincaid or her guest today, please call into the program at 1-866-472-5788. That's 1-866-472-5788. You may also send an email to hello@rozkincaid.com. Now, back to Soul Healing Conversations.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Roz Kincaid. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, feel free to connect with me at rozkincaid.com to schedule a Reiki session, an intuitive reading, a spiritual coaching session, or maybe you need your space cleared. I can handle that too. So if you're interested in becoming a sponsor or would like to advertise your business on my Voice America show page, you can find more information about that on my website under the radio show menu on the homepage. You can also send me an email for some more details. You can email me at hello@rozkincaid.com. Y'all, this has been a good conversation. I am here with my guest, Monique Mosher.
Hi, guys.
Having a conversation about psychic mediumship. And at this point in the show, we have a volunteer on the line to help us do a live psychic reading. Now, let me set this up for y'all a little bit, okay? What's going to happen is Monique and I are going to connect with our volunteers' energy. We're going to connect with spirit as well. Monique has her process. I have mine. And that's the beauty of this. Everybody works differently. We're going to read that energy. We're going to provide some evidence and deliver a message that we get for our caller. So, Mo, you ready?
I'm ready, girl. Whenever you're ready.
Cool. So we have our caller on the line. Caller, can you tell us your first name, please?
Terry.
All right. So Monique and I are going to do a quick reading for you. We're probably going to try and keep it to 10 minutes. So, before we start, I want to make it clear that anything that Monique and I give you psychically about your life path, Terry, can all change with your free will choice. We may give you messages and you decide to take that information and do something totally different. And that is perfectly fine. That is your right. That's your business. And I say that because of free will, psychic readings aren't always an exact science. Damn near, but not always the case. I just want to throw that caveat out there. So let's get into it. Let's see what happens. Monique, I'm gonna, for the sake of time, and so that you can have
you go, girl. You go.
To do what you do. I'm gonna go first, and because I have a spirit with me right now.
Yeah. You go.
Terry, and so Terry, this might feel a little bit like a test that you forgot to study for, even though it might be somebody that you're related to. So just work with me, okay? It's all good. So before I can feel your energy, Terry. I can feel some of the nervousness. I don't know if nail biting is your thing or if you bite your lip, but I'm definitely picking up on nervous, excited energy with you. But I do have a female spirit here. She looks to be in her 70s, 80s. She's presenting herself as having dark, short hair. I'm seeing her in a seated position as if she may have been confined to a wheelchair. She feels maternal in relationship to you, whether she may be a mother, grandmother, or great grandmother, or maybe even an aunt. But I'm feeling, I want to lean towards more like grandmother energy for me. Let me see. I have her wearing eyewear, glasses. They feel like they're on a chain, so she won't lose them. She's showing me her ears.
I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about?
I'm pretty sure I do, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's almost like she's trying to wheel herself in her chair, but she's also trying to like use her foot to scoop a little bit. But she's definitely, she has the will to want to move even as she's in a seated position. Well, is this your grandmother, Terry?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And as I'm connecting with her, the name that I'm getting a few names. I'm getting a B name like Brian. And then I'm clearly getting Gina Marie. I don't know if you can relate to somebody named Gina Marie or Gina or Marie, but I'm definitely getting those names, and I don't know if those relate to you, but I needed to give you that because she's giving it to me.
Okay.
I'm just connecting more with her. Okay, she's taking me back in time to younger days, maybe in her 20s, 30s. It reminds me of a West Side Story where she's dancing around, she's having fun.
Mm-hmm.
So like she looks like she used to wear her hair like in a little ponytail in the back where it kind of curly cues a little bit. And she's got a blue dress on. She's happy. Her cheeks are rosy. She's makeup, and she's beautiful. She's very beautiful. But then I see now she's switching my vision to showing me that she is, I don't want to say frantically, but quickly moving through her rosary, a black rosary. Can you relate to that?
No.
Okay. I'm not sure what that is, but she's showing me definitely a religious connection there with a rosary, which tells me there's a Catholic connection there in some way.
I'm actually not sure what her religion was, so she very well could have been. I don't know.
Oh, okay, no problem. And that's something that you can take back and do a little bit of investigation on your own. That's perfectly fine. She's bringing me to the circumstances around her passing, and I'm starting to feel very heavy in my chest. Sometimes when I feel heaviness in my chest, when I feel it deep falling back into my chest, like towards the back, it's like a sinking feeling, like I feel a heaviness, and now I feel like I have a hard time breathing, and now I feel like my throat wants to close a little bit. So I'm gonna say that the circumstances around her passing had to do with her lung capacity or cardiovascular or pulmonary issues. Where she
was
she
lung
had
cancer, actually.
Yeah, thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can I tell you, Terry, she don't want to go, because I can hear her saying, "I don't want to go. I don't want to go." She felt as she felt young. She presented young. She was perceived young, but in age and number she wasn't. But she was like, I don't want to go. I feel like I have a lot more life to live. I have experiences I want to have, and I'm just not ready. This was hard. This was really hard for her.
The thing is, she looked older than she was because of the cancer. So I think maybe she was a little younger. She really wasn't ready to go yet. I think that might be what you're feeling there.
She's definitely giving me that I don't want to go. And this is where her message comes in. She's saying, forget everything. Forget everything that's heavy. She wants you to live. Even in a quarantine, she wants you to live, breathe air, see the sun, get out in it, put your feet in the grass, go to the beach, experience. experience. What her message is saying, don't let your clock run out, and you don't know when that's going to be, but don't let your time run out without having done it all. You had a bucket list.
That's what I've been feeling a lot lately too. I've been feeling that so much lately.
Come on. Do it all. She's saying bust out of the gate, do all the things. Do everything that's on your bucket list and don't leave anything unchecked. She said don't be like me leaving this world feeling like I don't have time or I'm running out of time. She's encouraging you to do it all and you are holding yourself back. She's saying that you are holding yourself back. It's also, I don't know if you're in the tarot, Terry, but I feel what I'm seeing is the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords, where the swords are behind the lady. She's wrapped in loose cloth, but it's loose enough that she can free herself. You got to free yourself. Yeah. You have to let go. You have to roll over the gates, the boundaries, and just live and fuck what everybody else says, man. Live.
Absolutely.
Mo, you got it. What you got?
Oh, I mean, girl, it's kind of hard to touch upon anything on that.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. And I was going to say this though, Terry, because your energy, the thing that comes up to me the most is your energy. Your energy is alarming because you're on the verge of extreme burnout and possibly getting sick because you have been running so ragged for quite some time. And you actually have a sheath of darker gray energy around your whole aura, which means you're losing joy, lacking motivation. You haven't been outside enough. Your diet hasn't been high in photonic food. You lack joy. You're not making enough time for yourself. And you feel guilty even when you do. And you're deeply built into servitude. And the servitude has actually caused a lot of stagnancy in your life because you have a lot of other responsibilities that you're taking on from other people that I can see that is pulling in your aura as well. And if you don't really make this declaration, and I mean this in the nicest way, but Spirit's like, at what point are you going to stop trying to do it on your own? Because that's what you've been doing your whole life, girl. And without invoking the help, because you're really stubborn. Your free will is there, but you are really stubborn in the sense because, girl, you have been taken advantage of bad and hurt by people big time, especially relationships. That runs a really large shackle on your energetic body too. And you could actually benefit from what we call a womb cleansing. A womb cleansing is a very powerful energetic session because our wombs hold so much energy and can actually stop a lot of stuff. And this is what kills me, Terry, because you're this amazing, vibrant woman, but you are fucking exhausted. You are burnt, girl, to the crisp. And you are fucking tired. And you're like waiting, like, well, when is my ship going to come in? When is somebody else going to come fucking do this? First of all, I want you to know that you can, but you have to ask for help. And I say this because, girl, the last few years on you energetically have been hard. And they've taken from you. And because they've taken from you, you're getting worn out. And I can see this like heaviness on you. You just like, you have this like, and it's not grief. It just looks like you're just worn down and you're worn out. I want to say this. There's 3 significant things going on in your life right now. You have 3 very significant events going on in your life. One of them is going to be that really messes with your root chakra or causes a root chakra move, which means it could potentially affect the safety or foundation of us. This is a really positive move. You have some old stuff that's really, really, really moving out. And I don't know how to explain this, but the relationship shackles are going to come off. And you have 2 major events in your life out of this cocooning when Rona is over. You have some positive movement coming, but specifically in 2 areas of your life. One of these is more financial than the other. And this is really going to help catapult for some reason and change like your home situation. Spirit really brings me back to the home situation and it feeling like it's not supporting you in totality as a human being. And so this kind of all just really kicks back on what Roz said. You're not choosing yourself. You're choosing everybody else. And your energy is now reflecting that. But even deeper, your life is reflecting that.
There it is. There it is. Wow. Well, man, I hate to stop because I love.
I could go so deep. I could go so deep with you, girl, because there's 2 things that I could just dive into and give you such great clarity. But I can't take all Roz's time.
Give me a call, and you can do that.
Well, listen. Well, let me do this before we wrap the show. We got a couple of minutes. Monique, can you share with us while we have Terry on the call? Share with us how people can connect with you for a reading.
Yes. So my reading strategy to connect with me is super easy. My Facebook is Psychic Medium Monique Mosier. You can shoot me a message on there. Or my Instagram handle is @Psychic Medium Monique Mosier. You can also shoot me a message on there. But the fastest way is my cell phone. It's my work cell phone number. You guys, call me text me, hit me up like I'm one of your friends on 970-400-1277. Or you guys can also email me at moniquecmosier@gmail.com. But it sounds funny. It's just a cell phone number because it makes people feel like they're connecting with a friend.
I like it. I use it.
Girl, thank you.
Nice. Perfect. So Terry, thank you. Thank you so much for letting us do this for you. It's an honor. We don't take it lightly. We hope that we've said something that will affect change and that will help you along your journey. Monique, I want to thank you as well for being my guest today and having this conversation with me. Y'all, this was a real,
thank you, girl.
Real treat.
Seriously.
Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much again. And listen, and again, if you all want to connect with me or Monique, I'm going to post all of our information on my Facebook and Instagram site so that you can connect with both of us for more information, more content, or more healing. And I also want to thank all of you who tuned in today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This was very personal for me. Let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts about today's episode. I'd love to hear from you. Join me next week. I have another great show for you. Beth Carlton, also known as B. Carlton, is going to join me on working with the angelic realm. You don't want to miss that. If you want more content, more information about the angels and how to work with them to improve your life. So until next time, you guys, be safe and take care of yourself. Bye, everybody.
Thank you again for listening to Soul Healing Conversations. Please join Roz Kincaid again for another program next Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Time and 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Variety Channel. We'll talk again next week.